So what brings you in today?
Well, I've been having a lot of issues with my self esteem, and I just do not feel good about myself right now.
Okay.
It's
Can you give me some examples?
lots of changes in my life, and I feel like I'm just not good enough for some of those changes.
Okay. Well, I can probably help you with that. There's a therapy that I use. It's called cognitive behavioral therapy, which helps to change your thinking. So there's some things that we can do to build self-esteem, like address some self-defeating beliefs, and see what exactly is going on. If it's situational, I don't know a whole lot about you since you're just coming in, but I know one thing that I usually start off with is things like building your self esteem with positive affirmations. I have told clients in the past to write down something good about themselves and put it on a mirror. And every morning when you wake up and you're getting ready in front of the mirror, tell yourself, I can do this. I am good enough. I am worthy. I am beautiful. Just things like that to do. And then also, I have clients write gratitude lists. And every day in the morning they wake up, something they're grateful for. Three things at night. Three things that you are grateful for throughout your day. Sometimes it could be a warm cup of coffee, but once you start to get grateful for things, you start to appreciate things, and the positive affirmations will help with your self esteem because once you tell yourself over and over and over again, I am good enough, I am worthy, then you start to believe that.
So it helps your thinking change.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
Yes.
you mean by that.
Yes. Another thing that I like to do is, I want you to bring a journal to treatment and show me your gratitude list because of course, every day we're grateful for our children, but that's not something that should be on your list every day. I want you to start exploring different areas, such as, the cup of coffee, or I'm grateful that I have a job, that they're willing to take a risk on me with, doing something that maybe you're not sure of yet.
Right.
Also, I want to start to identify various fears that you have with change because, you did say in the beginning that you're going through a lot of changes. What changes are you currently going through?
Job change.
Okay.
It's a big responsibility, and where I'm currently working, I have a lot of responsibility, and I feel confident in that. But then sometimes it's a new area, so the new area is what's challenging me a little bit. So I feel like I just may not be good enough.
And I feel like that's normal, healthy fears. Of course, going into a new job is scary, but they thought that you could do the job for some reason or they wouldn't have hired you. So apparently you have the skills to do the job that they want you to do because I'm sure that you weren't the only applicant. So for some reason they chose you. And I want you to be able to realize that, for some reason they think that I'm good enough for this. But the task is you believing that you're good enough for it. And, if you have the skills to do the job, it's just the training there behind it, and change is hard. It's not an easy thing, whether it be relationships, whatever. Transition is hard, especially how long were you at your other job?
2 years.
2 years. Okay, so then you got comfortable
Mm-hmm.
and, you knew what was expected of you. You knew what you needed to do. And going into this job, you might know your job description, but what really is expected of you.
Well, and I also think part of it is just the transition from one organization to another. So the current job that I have is much smaller, more family oriented, more that kind of feeling. where you feel welcomed all the time, you feel like you're part of a family. And now I'm going to a much larger organization where that aspect probably won't exist as much,
Mhm.
or maybe it does. I don't know. Maybe that's a fear of mine as well. Is kind of getting lost in the numbers.
Mhm.
So I think that that's part of my fears as well. Is just getting lost in a transition, getting lost in a change like that. So I think that
So do you think that your self-esteem is coming from a lot of the fears that you have?
I believe so. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So then in utilizing those fears, we can start to see what your fears are
Mm-hmm.
and then start to make goals to overcome those specific fears. I obviously don't know a lot of your background besides from your evaluation that you had with us.
Mm-hmm.
So, we will incorporate theory and find out why you feel this way, which I'm sure you're wondering, why am I feeling like I'm not good enough?
Yeah.
So, and it could be from something that happened in your childhood, when our needs aren't met as children, that affects social skills throughout our life. And but I think it's situational and backed up by some fear that you have. And I think starting off with the positive affirmations and the gratitude list is really good.
Yeah.
And I know that it's going to be weird at first, looking in the mirror every day saying, I am beautiful, I am worthy, I have skills to do this, and just kind of overcoming that thought process and starting to change your thinking to what you really are, because you appear to be a good person to me. You are a beautiful woman, so that is not something that I see as an issue. And sometimes we tend to see ourselves differently than what other people see you as.
I have that little piece of me that it doesn't matter the degrees I get or the education that I have. I always feel inferior to certain types of people, and that is a struggle for me as well. It's sometimes I just don't feel as educated as I am, and I think that that's another thing. So maybe the positive affirmations probably would be very, very helpful, and maybe identifying more of my fears of what could be causing that thinking. I don't know. Just you never feel really when you're not feeling good about yourself. It's kind of it's definitely doesn't make you progress.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make you strive for anything more. So.
And do you think by looking in the mirror every day and saying, you have the skills for this job, do you think that will motivate you?
I don't know. It seems weird.
It does. It definitely does seem weird. But once you start telling yourself that you're good enough, because people can think whatever they want outside by looking in, but what really matters in the long run is the way that we think about ourselves, because that affects everything. It affects your work. It affects relationships. If you don't think that you're worthy of a good relationship, what are you going to do? You're going to settle for whatever that relationship could be that is unhealthy because you feel that you deserve that, because you're not thinking that you're deserving and that you can accomplish things, which I think that you can accomplish things. We can all accomplish things by putting our mind to it.
Right.
So let's start with that and see where we go next week. When I see you, we'll go over your gratitude list and how you felt. I want you to keep in mind and be aware of how you felt at the end of the week after 5 days of looking in the mirror, telling yourself that you're good enough.
Do you want me to notice physical feelings as well as
Absolutely.
emotional feelings?
Absolutely. Yes. I want you to become aware of the self-defeating beliefs because they're false.
Right.
So I want you to become aware of those. And even if you're feeling a certain way, I will give you that journal at the end of session and, start writing down the different feelings, because it could have, who knows, it could have to do with the time of day. I've been recognizing that around 5 p.m. I start to feel these feelings come
Right.
on, and then we can, go from there and start to identify the reasoning behind it. Because then if we can start to change that and know the reason why it's happening, then we can make some positive changes in your life to where you go out there with the confidence that you should have.
Okay,
Okay?
that sounds great.
All right. Then I will see you next week, and let me grab that journal for you.
All right, thank you so much.